Honourable Member, thank you for the question. I think obviously it predates my arrival, but my understanding is that when we benchmarked, we looked at the salaries and bandings and classifications of every FRCS employee, and we benchmarked them against firstly other Fijian government departments, and then also Fijian private sector. We think that's obviously appropriate. What we're certainly doing now, and I touched on trying to blend today's session from 17-18 to what we're doing right now. I've just recently appointed a new director of people. It's a key focus for me. And through all the changes we've seen through the pandemic and through a significant restructure of FRCS, which has seen about 30% of our staff leave the organisation. So we've had to look at new ways of doing business, and we've had to actually restructure the organisation, right-size the organisation, if you like, and then look at how we deliver the most efficient and effective service on behalf of the Fijian people. So we are right now also looking at that banding and classification of the people in the organisation and where they're sitting. And we'll do a similar sort of thing. We'll look at each of those positions, we'll benchmark them against other government departments, but also some of the private sector, and then see where we can meet in the middle. I think what's very clear, though, is that FRCS will not be able to compete clearly with the international market in terms of migration, but also with the private sector on salary and salary alone. So, my role as the new CEO is really to create a very positive workforce culture, and that's the key focus for me. Is to, if I can make people feel that we value them, make sure that they are aware of how important FRCS is as an organisation in terms of supporting Fiji. Make them proud to be a part of our organisation. Make sure we support those ongoing health benefits, which we've done. Make sure we provide reward and recognition. It's not only salary that delivers a really positive workforce culture where you can retain your people, and I think it's that employer of choice, and that's a very easy sort of tag, but it's committing strategically to being an employer of choice, and making sure that we work as one team, removing all the silos, making sure that there isn't a fear culture in the organisation, and making sure that if people have an idea, we're willing to listen. Because if we're going to foster innovation in FRCS and change, then a lot of that will come from leadership, but a big chunk of it will come from the people at the coalface who know their job really well and know where it's successful and where it could improve. So I'm not sure whether that answered your question, but I think we've got to be careful about benchmarking. It's important to do that work to see where we're at compared to others. But I think my overriding message is that salary alone will never be sufficient to retain the skills. We have to become that employer of choice, and that's a focus for me.
Supplementary question? Yes, Honourable Tuisao.
Yeah, through you, Chair. The reason I'm asking is because what's happening today is related to the planning which happened, prior to your arrival at the time of this report. So, I was wondering what kind of strategic planning or human resource planning was happening then, because there's concern about the number of redundancies which happen now, last year and so on. I know it's related to COVID, but the scale of it is a concern. That's the reason, I'm asking, how was the planning done then in terms of organizational strategy and linking the human resources needs to that planning, which to me seems it wasn't aligned properly given the situation which happened last 2 years. Thank you.
Yes, I understand the question. I think obviously the reporting where we talked about that comparison with other government departments in the private sector was done during that period of 2017 and 2018. I think your point is well made that there was some substantial restructuring done in FRCS last year, which wasn't part of the planning in the 2017-2018 strategic work. It was done, I guess, quite separately, done as a result of COVID, done as a result of some significant drop in revenue, And I guess that the board and management at the time felt that FRCS needed to play its role in reducing its costs and expenses to government. So it went through, again, prior to my arrival, a fairly rapid process of trying to right-size the organisation to ensure that we were efficient and effective. I think my role going forward is to make sure that we're fit for purpose. And clearly, as we come out of COVID, we tightened our belts significantly through that period. But as we come out of COVID and we see, airport and tourism travel almost reaching 2019 levels, then it's important that we are fit for purpose. And where necessary, I am being supported by the board to actually make sure that we've got those staffing levels right.